Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining. Wherever you're joining from, welcome to another week. It's been a week, kind of flew by and also went slow at the same time. It's funny how that happens. But we're back. We're back. It is almost Black Friday. It is, in fact, currently Black Friday week, which is now what they're calling it. So there are some pretty good deals out there. I started collecting a few. We can talk about those if you are curious. Otherwise, great to see everybody here in the chat. Marcus asked, "How is the map created? Is it automatic or manual? Is it an app?" So the map that you see there is all a bunch of JavaScript that I wrote a while ago, and some PHP that uses the Google API, which is not terribly pleasant to use. So it is not an app. It is not a off-the-shelf thing. However, there is a pretty good option. Oops, I need to change my background back from the workshop I did on Thursday. There is a pretty good option for this kind of thing, and it also has a Black Friday discount right now. Drop the link in the chat. This is H2R Graphics, and it is it does lots of graphics things like lower thirds and tickers and titles and all sorts of stuff. But one of the features it has is actually also a map. It definitely inspired by what I had done. It doesn't work exactly the same way. You do have to click the messages manually to show them on the map, but it's something you can actually download and use, unlike mine, which is a giant mess of code. And there is a Black Friday discount on that right now too, so always great. Is that a VHS back there? Yeah, okay. So I've been working, so you might see stack of tapes over there. Somewhere, oh, it's behind my head. There's a stack of DVDs. There is a VHS player and a camcorder. I've been working on some projects. My parents dropped off 5 boxes that look like this, full of 8mm tapes of all the old family videos that we filmed on 8mm camcorders, and there's a box of about 25 VHS tapes from the VHS camcorder that's even older. They thankfully still have the camcorder, so I have been just using that to play back the tapes into the video switcher setup here, and it's been working really well. I've already gone through like 25 of them. So essentially what I end up doing, actually, let me just start playing that one because I can show you. What I end up doing is playing from the camcorder, playing from the camcorder into a converter, which is a little StarTech S video to HDMI, and it will upscale to 720p, which is more than the camcorder has, but not too bad. And then that HDMI goes into the ATEM.
Suite number 1. And Aaron is a senior at the Waldorf School this year, and I believe he...
I'm sorry, I forgot I had the audio on. Let me turn the audio off. That's probably very loud, yeah. There we go. Sorry, yeah, that was the full volume of what I've been dubbing. Oh my god, sorry. So that plays into the video switcher. The upscaler stretches it to full 1080 720, 1280 720, which stretches it. And then I need to squish it back, and I decided to not do that in post and just do it live. So what I'm doing with that is actually using the upstream key feature. So if you look at I have the DVE option for the upstream key, and I have the X size set to 0.8, but the Y set to normal. So it squishes it back. If I turn that on, I think it'll work. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. So you can see it's squishing it, and then no, you don't get the audio. So if I hit play on that camcorder, it's going to start playing, and then it's, instead of all stretchy, it's a good ratio. So if I cut to it live, you'll see it looks all stretched out because the scaler isn't adding the black bars. So instead, I just put it on the upstream key, and then it squishes it, and it looks normal. So that then runs into the HyperDeck, which is just recording it to the network drive. And now I've got a giant folder full of tapes, and they're huge because they're 1080. So 1080 MP4s. So I'm going to later run those all through a transcoder to squish them down, because I do not need 1080, especially because the source is even 720 from the tapes. So, but I can use that. I can do it using Handbrake or script FFmpeg or something, and then it's just a bunch of files at this point, so I can do batch processing through whatever, right? IT Never Gets Old says the DVE approach is interesting. I've done the same thing with OBS and the StarTech. Oh yeah, totally. So one of the things I didn't want to get my computer involved in this, because again, I just don't trust computers for any of this stuff. So I wanted to not have the computer be part of the pipeline, and so that means it's just going through the ATEM, and then my computer can reboot at night or whatever, and I don't care. So what I've been doing is I just like load in a tape, hit play, hit record on the HyperDeck, and then let it go. So what happens when it hits the end of the tape? Well, that's why is that blue? So what happens at the end of the tape? Well, that is where I need to tell it to stop the capture. And that should be that. There we go. So if I don't want to be watching the video the whole time, which I really don't, I would rather just hit play and then just let it go and get notified when it's done. Essentially, what I'm doing is I have a script running that is continuously monitoring the video and looking for blue frames. So this was a script that I did using ChatGPT, because I can write a bash script, but it's easier if I don't have to. So it's watching the video brought in through a capture card, looking for the average color, and then if it stops, then it'll turn blue, and then you'll see the script will say blue frame detected, and if it detects like, I think it's like 20 or something in a row, every couple seconds it'll check. So if it detects 20 frames in a row, it will push a button on Companion to tell the HyperDeck to stop recording. And also in Companion, I have it rigged up to a push notification to my phone, so I will get a push notification that says it stopped recording, and then I can come back downstairs and swap out the next tape. It's been working great. It's such a weird chain together thing of system, but it's been super great. You could do this all with an ATEM Mini, and not have like the separate HyperDeck for recording, as long as you're okay with recording to SSD instead of a network drive. It's just really convenient on the network drive with this, but you could do it all with the ATEM Mini, because it has the upstream key for scaling, and it has the recording, ATEM Mini Pro, I guess, and it can be scripted using Companion also. So you don't need this much stuff like I've got here, but it's just like, this is why I have this stuff set up, is because it's super quick to just come in and like do random stuff like this. Like I can just pipe in the converter to my patch panel here, and then it's just available in the stream to pipe around to the HyperDecks or whatever. So it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks. That's super clever. Yeah. So that is oh, and it stopped because the companion told it to stop. That is actually just the Hyperdeck playing back one of the recordings, and just because I thought it would be fun to have it in the background. So it's playing back from the network drive, and it's just piped up to the screen up there. So that is what is playing on the Mac. What does the blue script use to analyze the video? Okay, so it's entirely bash. It's just shell. It's just a shell script. So, where I have it here somewhere. I started small. I started with like, oh, I'll just like check if the, frame is blue and then do something. But I just kept like adding on to this script. So here, let me walk through this. This is mostly written by ChatGPT, believe it or not. I know enough about how to make this work to make changes to it, but most of this was from ChatGPT. So this is what I added later of pressing a button in Companion, because you can trigger it over HTTP. I was using the RTSP encoder for a while, but it worked better from the webcam, so I plugged in a webcam instead. So this is FFmpeg grabs a video frame, a single frame from the webcam, and saves it to a file. So then I have a JPEG on disk. If it failed, it'll error out. Then there's another FFmpeg script which will compute the average color of the frame. So this, thankfully did not have to look this up. I just told ChatGPT to write a script to calculate the average frame of a image, and then it gave me this, and I was like, well, that worked great. So that gives me the hex values, and then this splits it into RGB, turns it into decimal, and then that's what you saw on the output of that R0G0B231 for this blue. Some of the like the pause screen is a slightly different blue. So I have a couple of checks for this was for the VCR, which has a different blue. So that's the camcorder blue. It'll count the number of blue frames and increment it, and then finally, if there's enough in a row, then it will post to Companion, and then do it all again. And it's been great. So thanks, ChatGPT, for helping me write that bash script. All right, let me look at the actual questions here. Looks like we've got a bunch of good folks in the chat, which is always fun. Okay. Yeah, so I was working the digital 8s. That's the 25 that I've done are the 8mm from the camcorder. This actually is, I'm borrowing it from an old family friend who's actually, his kids are on some of these tapes, which was funny. This first tape that I grabbed happened to be a concert with all of them. And this deck is not just a VCR, it's a VCR, VHS on one side and DVD on the other, and it can do conversion, dubbing between both. So it has a mode where you can load in a VHS, load in a blank DVD, press a button, and it'll dump the entire tape to DVD. And I just set it up back here and turned it on last night, so I haven't actually started doing that process yet. But that's my plan for getting through the 25 VHS tapes or so, which will take several days. But that's just like totally self-contained and automated. Pretty cool little thing. The one missing piece that I can't do is I no longer have my mini DV camcorder. I forgot that was a thing. So all these tapes I've been dumping are the 8mm high. It's a combo of original 8mm high 8 and digital 8. And then apparently at one point I got a mini DV camcorder, which I completely forgot about. And the tapes are just smaller. And I do not have this camcorder anymore. And I also went to Goodwill yesterday, 2 different Goodwills, and they just don't have camcorders anymore. So Apparently camcorders are too old to be at the thrift store now. So I don't know what I'm going to do about these. I don't even have that many of them. Maybe I can send them out. It seems silly because they're not, it's not like, yeah, I don't know. Matt actually has a mini DV deck. Really? Okay. Well, maybe we can talk because I just need it for a little short time. How many video heads? I have no idea. Mini DV is still my favorite format, especially when Apple iMovie came out. I like the tapes. They're super cute. They're very, very good size. It's a little silly now to think about like how much more efficient SD cards are and how much smaller they are than these. But yeah. Also, oh my gosh, I forgot how long it takes to rewind tapes. That was a thing. Wow, everybody has one. Grish has one using Dump Your Old Ones. IT Never Gets Old has one. Okay, well, if somebody wants to loan me one, I will pay for shipping both ways. So, yeah. You should try mini discs and DAT tapes from the good old audio time. So I actually, I have a stack of mini discs also, and I do actually still have my mini disc recorder. It's like the big rack console size. So I need to bust that out and do that next. I was a huge fan of mini discs. I like that format. So I need to get that. It'll have a digital audio, like optical audio out. So I need to figure out what to pipe it into, to get that back into some useful format. Mini discs are great though. HHP Digital does conversions from all analog, domestic, and broadcast to digital. Well, look at that. Everyone, what a crowd. Okay. Yeah, less compression than H.264. Oh my gosh, you also still have your old mini DV camera. Why don't I have mine? I usually don't get rid of electronics like that, and I just don't know where it went. I'm surprised I don't have mine. I'm jealous of all of you who kept yours. Maybe I can do a short video tutorial on using ChatGPT to create scripts for production automation. That'd be kind of fun. That's a good idea. I wonder if it would ride the AI wave of getting views on YouTube because it's got AI in the name. Okay. I didn't promise anything from this stream, so this is what you get. This is what you get. You also have a JVC mini DV camcorder. Wow, okay. Oh my gosh. Mini disc was super cool. Used to create dubbed Santana music on it. Paul is currently converting 30 mini DV tapes from a camcorder plugged into an old Mac using FireWire. Wow, okay. Oh yeah, so this camcorder, this 8mm does have FireWire on it, and I went through the exercise of trying to get that working. And I got a Thunderbolt 3 to Thunderbolt 2 converter, a Thunderbolt 2 to FireWire converter, a FireWire cable, plugged it all in, and then my Mac couldn't do anything with it. And then I started looking up online, like, how do people do this? And it turns out the easiest way to do it is to get an old Mac and just use old software on an old Mac. And I was like, I'm not willing to do that for the slight quality gain that I would get by dumping it digitally. So instead, I'm just doing it analog. So it's S-video analog out to this converter box, HDMI in, and then it's technically less quality. I don't think it's less quality in any significant way given the source material. Plus, the number of tapes in this collection that are digital 8 is extremely low. Most of them are analog anyway, so that would just be using the camera's analog to digital converter anyway, instead of this box. So I figured, whatever. I'm just gonna also, like, again, I don't want to rely on my computer a computer working for this. I would rather be able to automate it through the broadcast gear. So that was the other reason I was like, I'm just going to stick to the same process for all of these, and the process has been working very well right now. So, yeah. Andy says, not to feel left out, an owner of several Sony mini DV cameras. Why does everybody still have their mini DV cameras? I am extremely jealous. HHP Digital can give me a DV cam player recorder if you're willing to pay the shipping. Yes, I might be willing to pay the shipping. You should email me and we can talk. Davis, my first video camera was an 85 Panasonic PV200. It was their first full service camcorder. My parents' friends lent me their camera months earlier to record my 10th birthday camera in VHS. If you wanted to get funky about quality, you could de-interlace the tape video as well. The tape, I don't see any interlace lines on the video that is getting captured, so I don't really know where it's getting de-interlaced, but it looks good. I mean, as good as it can. Oh my god, mute that. As good as it can for the quality of the time. But this is one of the files. This is pouring the driveway at my parents' house. 1998, which is definitely not digital 8, but it's not interlaced. At least it doesn't look like it to me. So something de-interlaced it somewhere along the line. What format am I going to deliver the tapes to? So the one that I did transcode is I did some experiments to try to get the balance between file size and resolution. So when I use the HyperDeck to record, it's way too big. So like this file of the driveway pour is it's an hour long, and it's ended up at 17 gigs, which is like fine for, you know, HD video, but it's not HD, obviously. So I don't need to preserve that quality. So I ran it through Handbrake, and I got it down to a 682 by 480 resolution, which is I think the native resolution of the camera. Also H.264, because I don't trust the other codecs to last longer than longer yet. So this is the other thing Handbrake does, is it auto detected the black part of the video and it cropped it, which is kind of cool. But this got down to 1.5 gigs for an hour, which is fine with me. So that's what I'm gonna stick with. H.264, scale down to 480, and I considered doing H.265. It seems like the benefits, you lose a lot of the benefits of the H.265 at lower resolutions. Like it makes more of a difference if the resolution's higher in the first place. So didn't need to do that there. Plus, not every computer can deal with H.265 anyway, and because there's so many patent issues with it, I don't necessarily trust it to last longer than H.264 will. So yeah. The beauty of using the old Mac is the QuickTime automatically rewinds, starts, and stops the playback on the camcorder. I do remember doing that with camcorders. But yeah, again, just like the number of tapes that are actually digital is low compared to the analog ones. And so I would also not know when it stopped, so I have to keep checking it. But this way I get a push notification on my phone. It just like says recording stopped. It's very convenient. Sony DSR-11. Oh, is that the deck? Oh, this is one of the ones that came up when I was searching. I will absolutely pay for shipping if you can send me that one. That supports mini DV and 8mm, right? trying to remember. Does it let you put both tapes in it? I think it does. I think that was the point. Oh, wow, it's listed on B&H still. DV and mini DV. Look at that. That's exactly the deck that I want. I was fancy my VHS camcorder was super VHS. Okay, wow. What a trip. Yeah. Oh yeah, so that video is actually me playing at a concert, playing piano, and mostly piano. Long time ago. Oh, and a little bit of guitar apparently. All right, going back to the chat here. Let me see. Let me see what we can bring back 4x3. Oh, actual question from Gene. Sorry, it took so long to get to the actual content here. Is there a way to jam sync timecode to an ATEM Mini Pro ISO or Extreme? I want to use Deity PR2. I don't have a ton of experience with timecode. I've only done a little bit of experiments with it, and mostly not with the ATEM because mostly it's like when I'm using multiple cameras and recording separately anyway. There's no, you can't feed timecode into the ATEM. It will generate its own timecode if you want to use that. But you could, of course, always do it with the audio track. But the ATEM won't know about it. But if you needed it just in the recording, you could do it with the audio track. But yeah. Are you going to upload all them all to YouTube, a whole new channel of Aaron from before he was famous? Oh, God. No, these are definitely not all going on YouTube. What's new with the house? We're a little behind on posting, a lot behind on posting videos about it. But I will drop the house channel link in again. Oh yes, gosh, 2 months ago was the last one posted. So there is a 2 episodes filmed that are not quite posted yet, but those will come out soon. The last update on the channel was about this bathroom that is now done. This was before the tile went in, and the tile is all done and it looks amazing. So we have some sneak peeks of it in the latest video that'll come out. I'm gonna try to get it out this week. Unfortunately, it's not quite like glamour shots of the bathroom yet because it's just the tile, and then they covered it all up with plastic for the painters to come in. So it's just a sneak peek, and there's no like tub or anything in it yet either. So, but that's done. And then the things that are happening now, which we did in this video, we did a quick little tour of everything, but it's the painters are starting. So they're doing the stain on the staircase, wood, and then they're going to start the colors inside, hopefully this week. And the outside of the house is making progress. They did all the concrete pour for the retaining walls in the landscape, and it's amazing. It's starting to feel a lot more real. Fernando says, what audio mixer are you using these days for your streaming setup? So in the studio, I use the Behringer X32 rack. It is, there's the link. The reason I use this one is because of the integration with the, it's discontinued. That's right. Oh, wait, no, on back order. Interesting. Okay. The reason I got this one in particular is because of the integration with the digital audio in the big ATEM Constellation 4ME. So it lets me bring in 32 channels of audio from the ATEM into the mixer digitally. So I have a bunch of stuff plugged in, like the Apple TV, the computer, the HyperDeck, like all these things are actually being brought in digitally from the ATEM into the audio mixer. And I can automate the audio mixer using Companion. So I can make buttons that'll mute the microphones and adjust settings and things. It's great for the studio. It's a lot for, it's a lot. It's just a lot. It takes a lot of time to set up and learn. For smaller things, and especially like field things, I last used the RØDECaster Duo, which is on that shelf back there. And that is great. It's super useful for that kind of thing. It's obviously a lot smaller than a 32 channel mixer, but and there's no companion control, but it's it has a lot of useful features. So I thought you went to the Midas 18. So long time ago, I had the Behringer 18. I can't remember the model numbers. It was either the 8 or 16 channel version, or maybe it was the 18 channel version. I used that for a long time. I did swap it for the Midas version. I think it was from Sweetwater. They just let me do an exchange on it. And I used that for quite a long time, actually. XR18 Air, that's the one. Thank you. I'm glad you know that. It was a long time ago. So I used that for a while and did do the companion automation with it, but it didn't have the digital audio feature, Maddie, to let me bring in digital audio from the ATEM. So it worked fine for everything else, but then as soon as I got the big ATEM, I was like, it'd be really cool to have digital audio in and out from the mixer, and then I sold that one and upgraded to the X32. Do you have a flow diagram of your conversion path? Your solution looks way more elegant than mine, as I have to do a whole bunch of VHS next, so I'll need to look how you did yours. Great question. I don't currently have one. Let me see if I can just quickly sketch one in. I just like using Keynote for this because it's quick. So it's the 8mm camcorder. Let me draw this out as if it were an ATEM Mini, because you do not need the big ATEM for this at all. So the camcorder goes into the ATEM Mini. There's a computer for the script, and computer would be running that. That's where you would run Companion, or on a Raspberry Pi, whatever. But you do need Companion. So the link between the two is obviously USB. So that's a capture card. USB webcam. This is going through, so this is going to be S-Video and RCA for audio. It always annoyed me that S-Video cables are just for the video signal. Why didn't they bundle audio into that? It doesn't make any sense. This is the StarTech. I did try another converter, and the StarTech looked a lot better, so I returned it and I got StarTech. It's more expensive. This one was $100. The other one was like $30. Everything I read online before I started this was like, don't use the cheap converters, and I agree. Don't use the cheap converters. This one does a good job. StarTech converter converts that to HDMI. So then we have an HDMI link, and this is 720. The StarTech must be doing the deinterlacing. So then the ATEM can upscale 720p to 1080. Webcam is for the computer running that script to monitor and tell the ATEM to stop recording. And then if you're using the ATEM Mini, you could just record to an SSD. Oh, shoot. That doesn't work because we need the two USBs. Darn it, ATEM Mini. Okay, it's going to be the Extreme. You have to use the Extreme because you need the two USB ports. You could do this with the Osee GoStream also, because it can be automated. That would do it. and then you do the upstream key and to squish it in the ATEM Mini Extreme, and it records the SSD. Or if you wanted to do it the way I'm actually doing it, replace the ATEM Mini with the big ATEM. Doesn't really matter which ATEM it is, and then add a hyperdeck to record to network storage. But this is basically the signal path. Aries Man, thanks for the reminder. Subscribe and support the channel and live stream. Thanks. Literally have $5,000 in Monster RCA and S-Video cables, and that's a lot of cables. I now have a pile of $5,000 worth of light switches on my floor right now. That's fun. I just bought light switches for all the house, going all Lutron Cassetta to be able to automate them. And they are sitting on my floor right now in a box, and there's a lot of light switches over there. That was a lot of work making that list of things to buy too. Alex says it'd be a cool idea if Blackmagic did a daisy chain for the ATEM Mini in the Extreme over the network. I feel like something like that might come at some point with their whole move into IP2110, because you can do that with their IP2110 video now. Because like if you just look at the converter boxes they have, the 3x3, essentially you get 3 bidirectional video feeds over 1 network connection now. 10 gig network connection. And that feels to me like very possible that they could start expanding that into, put that into a switcher, and then you've got video feeds being able to feed into it over the network. Wouldn't the ATEM Mini do USB for SSD and HDMI capture card into the computer? Yeah. I mean, if you, the problem with the ATEM Mini is only 1 USB port, so if you wanted you'd have to add a capture card, which you can do. Then you also lose your HDMI out for monitor, so you wouldn't be able to monitor, have a multi-view up, which you don't really need for this, but that's the limit, I guess. Titans TV, can you monitor the audio remotely on the RØDECaster video? Oh, that's a good question. I don't think so. In Road Central does have, oh, I need to update. Oh, and it's not plugged in, so I don't even see it. Yeah, in Road Central, it does pull in the video feed from the RØDECaster video, like when you're in that switcher mode, but yeah, it doesn't pull the audio, which seems like it absolutely could. So maybe they could do that in a firmware update. That'd be useful, because then you could like remote screen share into a computer to control it. That's a good idea. I will file it as a feature request with them. I bet you can't monitor audio remotely because of the Zaxcom patent. What? I don't know anything about that, and I don't want to know. How does the MADI work on the Constellation? What's the connection workflow? So it's point to point. So there is a single SDI cable that connects the ATEM Constellation and the audio mixer. And single SDI cable. I guess it's not SDI if it's sending audio, but yeah, the coax cable. And then when you configure it, you go and you tell it, oh, you need a special card added to the X32. But then, oh yeah, so in the setup here in card, so this is what the card looks like on the back. There's in and out. It also works over optical, but the ATEM has the coax. So you tell it which of the 64 channels that MADI supports do you want to bring in. So I have channels 1 to 32. There are 2 coax outputs on the ATEM, but it's a 32 channel mixer, so you can only obviously have 32 channels in. But the ATEM does have MADI outputs for not all, for 64 channels, so 32 of the SDI channels, video channels. So I've got one cable that connects to this. If I had another mixer, I can get the other 16 video channels into a mixer. But yeah, point to point. And then, so you do that, and then you do in the routing, you say where you want your mixer channels to come from. So I have my mixer channels 1 through 8 are actually user mapped. Mixer channels 25 through 32 are user mapped, and then the channels 9 through 16 and 17 through 24 are directly from the card. The user mapping is oh, I changed it. That one doesn't need to be user mapped anymore. That one I can change over to regular. This one I user mapped because I want 2 analog channels. So I have 2 microphones connected to the mixer. Don't remember why it was in port 3 and port 1, XLR 1 and 3, and then the rest are MADI channels. So basically my mixer is first 30 channels are MADI channels 1 to 30, and then channels 31 and 32 are my 2 microphones. This microphone and then the one for the wall. But yeah, just one cable. Yes, you can see the visuals of the audio on Rode Central. That is a good point, which means the audio is already coming in. So if I will file as a feature request, and they will decide whether or not they're allowed to do that. Oh, thank you for joining the channel as a mini supporter. Don't forget to click the link in the member section to go find the Discord for members. Paul says, perfect, thanks. I only have an ATEM Mini Pro. I have a Blackmagic Shuttle Thunderbolt, but they don't support it anymore, so I'll get a StarTech. Oh, yeah. ATEM Mini Pro. So yeah, if you don't care about the automation of automatically stopping the recording, then you can just, press start and stop on the ATEM to the drive. But if you do want to automate it, then you'll need another capture card from the HDMI out into the computer so that you can monitor. I should post that script somewhere too. Yeah, I'll leave a link in the description once I post it. I'll put it up on GitHub. Didn't take that long to write, but it was just annoying to write. That's a handful. Anyway, I believe only the 4ME has MADI. Yes, that is correct. Only the 4ME, maybe the Constellation 8K too, but yeah, the 2ME does not have MADI. I'm kind of bummed about that. I feel like that would have been useful, but question from Andrew. When increasing the microphone volume slightly, does it matter if you increase the gain versus just raising the audio with a fader? Yeah, it definitely can. So I'm not an audio expert, so I'm going to explain this poorly, but I'm going to explain it in a way that makes sense to me. So hopefully it makes sense to you. The gain adjusts. It's more like adjusting the signal on the way in. So if your gain is really low, and then you slide the fader up, you'll end up with more noise because it didn't have as much signal to work with in the first place. So low gain will start out, you'll hear it as a low volume, and if you just like pushed your slider up all the way up, you're gonna hear a lot of hissing in the background. So if you turn the gain up first, then you get like better data to work with in the first place, and then you can adjust it with the fader. The flip side of that is if your gain is too high, it'll like always be clipping. And even if you bring the fader down, it'll be quiet, but it'll still be clipping, if that makes sense. So you need to get the gain adjusted to a good level first, and then you can do the fine adjustments with the fader. I would say that if you're trying to do fine adjustments, especially if you're going to change it back, use the fader, but the gain should be like, get the gain right and then like leave it alone, right? That's my audio tip. I'm sure Tom Buck has much better explanation of how this all works. Have I had a chat with Magewell before that indicates if they're working on something towards Magewell Director Pro or something? I have not, and even if I did, I wouldn't be able to tell you. So, Keith says, out of all the new switchers you have had on your channel this year, what would you recommend as the best for a home studio? Home studio. I think it depends on a couple of things. At this point, I would say it always depends on how much, on exactly what you need it for and what kind of thing you're willing to sign up for to work. So, the ATEM Mini Extreme is still a very capable switcher. The ATEM Mini Pro, I think, has a bunch of limits to it just because of the single USB and single HDMI. So you're always going to be fighting something with that. The form factor is great. The Osee GoStream is essentially an ATEM Mini Pro that fixes all the problems. With 2 USBs, 2 HDMIs, and then the GoStream Duet has SDIs, which is super, super useful. So I think that this would be a really good option now instead of an ATEM Mini Pro. ATEM Mini Extreme still gives you more features and more inputs, obviously. So I think the ATEM Mini Extreme can also be a really good option for people. And even though it's several years old, it's still very capable and like works just as well. It's not like it's going to suddenly be irrelevant. That said, both of those work like traditional broadcast switchers, which takes some learning. So you have to be willing to like put in the effort to learn the terminology, upstream key, downstream key, those kinds of things. Like you will need to understand that and work with that method. The RØDECaster video, on the other hand, the RØDECaster video, I think, is a really, really good option for some people if you don't mind the limits that it has. But RØDECaster video, I say, is a good option because it doesn't work anything like a traditional broadcast switcher, so you don't have to learn that stuff. It's much simpler to give to somebody who's not used to working with traditional video tools, and they'll be able to figure it out. Plus, the auto switching feature for podcast setups is great, and then like the connectivity with the other Rode mics is it's very well done. So at this point, I would say for a home studio, probably ATEM Mini Extreme, GoStream Duet, especially if you are interested in getting SDI gear, or RØDECaster video, but it really depends on what your goals are with the studio. The Magewell Director Mini and the YoloBox are they're good. They're just, I feel like they're not the best for a home studio setup because of, well, the Director Mini only has 2 HDMI ins anyway, so it's just limited in connectivity, but also being a touchscreen, I think that it's just like, it's good for when you need it to be portable and when you are like out in the field. RØDECaster video has a much higher price point. Well, it's like if you're comparing it to the Extreme, it's about the same as the Extreme. But yeah, the GoStream Duet is super, super affordable. Speaking of which, that is one of the things that they're having a Black Friday sale on right now. So this is actually a really good time to get one if you've been thinking about it. Let me drop a link in the chat. There it is. That come through? Yes. Yeah, there is a pretty good sale on the GoStream right now. 20% off. So it's yeah, it's $316 right now. which is really good price considering what this thing can do. Yeah, with the SDI ports, so it's a 5 channel switcher, and then for the 4 video inputs, you choose whether you want SDI or HDMI. You can kind of switch them on the fly, but I don't really recommend using it like that. But having the SDI inputs, it just gives you so much flexibility for like once you start doing things that are just a little bit more than just HDMI cameras. And 316 is hard to beat, honestly, for what that thing can do. It's amazing. You're right. You're no Curtis Judd. Thanks. Thanks a lot, Matt. Paul says, I'm thinking of getting an ATEM Mini Extreme, but now the RØDECaster video is out. Could I use that alongside an ATEM Mini Pro to get the extra channels? That's an interesting idea. The ATEM, so the thing about chaining the video switchers together like that is that you're not getting 8 channels. You're getting, if you have your 4 channels in the RØDECaster and an ATEM Mini connected, one of the RØDECaster channels can be switched between the 4 that are in the ATEM, right? So it's not exactly the same as having 8 channels, because you can't do like scenes. One good example would be in the RØDECaster video, you can create scenes, so you can do like side-by-side layouts and things. But obviously, you wouldn't be able to create a scene with 2 of the sort of video sources that are in the ATEM, because it only shows up as one source in the RØDECaster. So you can do things like if you just need a couple extra camera angles and you're never going to put them side by side, great, you can do that. But yeah, so as long as you're okay with that, chaining them together, great way to get additional video channels into the RØDECaster video. There are lots of limitations with the GoStream, especially when it comes to SuperSource. True, the SuperSource does not work at all the same way as the ATEM SuperSource. It does do more. It gives you a lot more flexibility compared to the ATEM Mini Pro. So if you're thinking about, I wouldn't compare it to the Extreme for a couple of reasons, this being one of them. But if you're comparing it to the ATEM Mini Pro, it does more video layout options than you can do in the Pro, in the ATEM. So from that perspective, it's like way better than the ATEM Mini Pro, because it just has all these other options. Yeah, it's not the same as the SuperSource feature in the ATEM Mini Extreme. But again, the price difference there is pretty drastic. For that price, I might just buy one. Honestly, I don't even know how they're making it for $316. That is amazing. One thing Blackmagic has over the others is the ecosystem down to the new network storage and Resolve integration. Absolutely true. And this is why I said, like, it really depends on what your goals are with the home studio. Because if you just need a video podcast setup for a couple cameras and that's what you're going to do, honestly, RØDECaster video is what you should be getting at this point. I mentioned it last week, but Jonathan from Bike Portland has a studio in his backyard, and he's wanted to do video podcasts and like have people come in and like do in-person interviews. And it's, especially if you're filming like hour-long things, filming that on separate cameras, dumping all the cards, syncing your audio, it's just a lot of work. So that's why most people don't do it for a long time. So I helped him set up a RØDECaster video in the shed, and he has been off to the races filming all sorts of content with it now. And this is the auto switching from the RØDECaster video. There's a single light above this, and it's doing a really good job of lighting the room. He's got 3 cameras that are just permanently attached to the wall. They're just out of the frame of every shot, so you can't see them. This camera is actually on the complete opposite end of the wall like 15 feet away. And we got it all set up. Like, I helped him screw everything into the wall. The cameras are permanently attached. We ran the wires behind everything. Like, it's, I'm gonna do a video about his studio soon. I've just been, ever since he did the last couple of touches, I have been traveling, so I haven't had a chance to go back and visit the completed studio. But I filmed a bunch of B-roll of setting it up and all that. And this is a RØDECaster video now that he has there, and it's just like always ready. He just, you know, walks in, presses record, can go. It's like it's incredible, and it's exactly what he needs. Does that mean he's missing out on Resolve integration and NDI inputs and SDI? And yes, absolutely. But like, it doesn't matter. Like that wasn't the point of that studio. So this is why definitely need to think about what you're actually trying to do with this stuff to know what is going to be the best option. Matt says, wow, they had an open box. I just bought it for $284. That is a fantastic deal. Congratulations. The GoStream is a good little box for sure. Any word of RØDECaster video will be getting H265 and SRT. How can I apply for YouTube to receive SRT streaming in my account? I have no idea if H265 or SRT are coming to the RØDECaster video. I don't know, unfortunately. Also, they made it very clear that they don't want me to trickle out secrets that they're working on. Some companies are fine with, like YoloBox, for example. They're happy to talk about what's happening in the future, and if they're like have something in progress, they'll even show it at NAB before it's available. Other companies, not so much. Blackmagic, absolutely not. I don't even know any Blackmagic secrets. I do still have like, so there's things in the original Rode package from January, which is almost a year ago, from when they were when they did the creator event, that are not yet in the product. So I can't talk about those, but also I don't even know if they're actually going to come to the product at this point, because now it's out. So I cannot tell you. As far as YouTube goes, YouTube sent me an email at one point inviting me to the SRT beta. I have no idea how they found me, so I don't have a way to like send you to a page to apply for it. Sorry. Oh, speaking of Rode, I totally forgot about this, but they are doing this Creator of the Year awards thingy, and I applied to it and did not make the first cut of their top picks, but there's also audience voting. So if everybody here, or even half of you here, went into this and voted for me, I would appreciate it. You just go in here, vote now. I should actually do some voting too. But you can vote for people in categories. Also, definitely vote for Tom Buck. He did make one of their picks or finalists or something. Definitely vote for him. He deserves it. But yeah, I'm in here somewhere, and I would also appreciate your vote. Wow, there's a lot of people. I haven't actually looked through this list yet. Yeah, so hopefully we'll see what happens. I think I'm in the list. Well, I am. Matt already voted for me, and Tom. Thanks. I appreciate it. Great. And Keith, thank you for the super chat. House files, editing, coffee. Thanks for the answers today. Thanks. Yes, I will get those house files episodes out, at least one this week. Clear Life Media says, I'm excited to try using the RØDECaster to our Blackmagic Cloud Pod and then having our editors be able to access the content. How are you going to get the videos from the RØDECaster, though, to the Cloud Pod? I guess just like... I guess you could just record to an SSD and then physically connect the SSD to the Cloud Pod, right? That's an interesting idea. Yeah. Definitely easier than shipping SSDs around. Craig says, do you use an audio interface or do you use the ATEM Mini Extreme mic? I was told that the mics are problematic. The mic inputs are not on the ATEM Minis are not super clean. So like if you're connecting a mic level thing and using the ATEM's mic amplifier, it's definitely not going to be as good as like something with a better preamp in it. So actually most of the time what I would do with the ATEM Mini is run a microphone into a camera and then bring the audio into HDMI from that. And that ends up working pretty well. But yeah, if you are using an external mixer because you need more than just one mic, bring that into the ATEM over line input and it'll be better. And then it's fine. Yeah. Oh, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Oh, and you have a question here. I have to wait for the animations to stop before I can show it. I don't know. There we go. Quality-wise, is the Camlink more good or the AverMedia UC 2018? Oh, gosh, I haven't done like an actual side-by-side comparison of them. I'm sure someone has done one on YouTube. I'm sure you can find a sample of it. I think they're both fine. Like they're definitely both not, they don't have the contrast problem that the ATEM USB output has. So there's that. They're fine. What is the UC 2018? I think I have that one. The nice thing about that one, yeah, that one has an SDI input also, which is kind of cool. So that is not a, it's useful. So why is mine not connected? I thought I had it connected to this computer, but maybe it didn't quite make it over in the rack rebuild. Yeah, anyway, SDI in, useful, HDMI. So if you want the versatility of that, it's a good option. But I don't remember if there's a significant quality difference between the two. Paul, and thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. I tried searching for Aaron on both Rode voting pages and can't find you. Matt, can you explain how to find me to vote? Because I haven't even logged in yet to look. With the exception of the Rode, all 3.5mm are terrible at use HDMI or USB. Technically true, yes. But I will also say that you can get a perfectly acceptable result with the line input on the ATEM Mini. It's you just might have like ground loop issues. So you will always get a better result with a real audio mixer. But I think it's fine on the ATEM Mini. Only if we could reverse the USB on the ATEM to an input. Yeah, yep. Marcus, I'm planning to film a talk with several Lumix S5 2Xs in 4K. I would also like to offer a live stream. Can the RØDECaster video or ATEM Mini Extreme receive the HDMI signal? So the RØDECaster video and the ATEM Mini Extreme will not accept a 4K input at all. Like it won't even downscale it. But your camera should be able to output a 1080 version of the 4K from the 4K while recording 4K. Some cameras can't do it, but the S5 II should be able to. I don't have it, so I can't tell you for sure. And I don't know like what the menu looks like. Photo Joseph might actually have a video about how to do it. I feel like he's got a video about this camera, but it's a high enough end camera that it should have that feature. It's buried somewhere in the menu. Look for the HDMI output. Maybe actually, this is not that camera, but it's good. Have the battery. This is the GH7, so it's a different camera, but it's got a lot of similarities. is this going to show up? I feel like the screen is very dim. Maybe actually this one's better. Yeah. Then I can even focus. If I can find that camera. Which one are you? I haven't named them all yet. There we go. So somewhere in here is, somewhere in the menu, you'll find something about HDMI out. Wow, I don't remember where it is. There, oh, out, HDMI. There we go, output resolution. You should have this feature. So I can change this to 1080p and still record in 4K. So that's what you want to look for. Oh, Matt voted on round 1. I'm not on round 2. I thought I was still in the audience voting section for round 2. That's sad. Oh well. Sergio just says just got offered a Cooler Master Stream Engine switcher for $50. I know I don't need it, but it's so cheap. I have never even heard of that. What? I thought Cooler Master made like PC stuff. What is that? Stream Engine. I've never heard of this. It's on eBay for $50. What? What is this? I've never seen this before. Huh. In it. I'm fascinated. It's HDMI 1, HDMI 2. HDMI 1 has 4K loop out. HDMI 2 has input A and B. Wonder what that means. There's analog audio. What in the world is this? I've never heard of this. That's why I'm intrigued. Well, I'm also intrigued now. What in the world? Huh. Okay. Does the GoStream Duet downscale 4K? I don't think so. I don't think that. Let's see if it's on their tech specs. Doesn't say resolution there. Oh, input video format. Yeah. No 4K. Not surprised. Maybe Cooler Master will be the conference which you've been wanting. This is the type of bizarre contraption I usually look at. That's so weird. I'm also almost tempted to get it for $50. Don't you think it's time to partner with one manufacturer and launch a PK1 mixer that combines all the streaming features that were ever suggested on this live stream? All of the features? No, it's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea to add all the features to a switcher. I do, however, have very specific needs that I would like somebody to make. And, yeah. S52X does indeed have the HDMI 1080p setting. All Lumix cameras have it. Well, I think some of the lower end ones don't, but like the G7 doesn't even output HDMI when you're recording, which was sad. But this is why I use it for live stream cameras for like the podcast sets, because I don't record in camera on those. So yeah, but yeah, the higher end ones, absolutely. And also have the AMPK switch would be $50. Yeah, sure. One real behind the head option to bring audio into from a mixer without the line inputs is to use something like an audio to SDI converter, especially if an ATEM mini SDI. Totally another good option. Yeah, there's converters like that. Blackmagic has a few. It can definitely work. I guess you can use these little like the one I'm using for the camcorder. It's got analog in and HDMI out. But I mean, you're using the converter in those boxes, so make sure you get a good one because that's the quality you're getting then. Hi from Hungary. Do you have recommendations for which Mac would be the best to use Zoom ISO Max for streams? I forget if they publish recommendations now. I would at this point probably get a let's see if they have anything about. Oh, I did learn a good trick for Zoom ISO though. Do they? No requirements. Only using Apple Silicon. Fine. Okay. Okay. I would just go with like a not quite base level of any of the new Mac Minis. So this is the M2 Mac Mini. You don't need disk space for Zoom ISO. I don't think RAM would hurt. So I would probably go with if you look at the M4s, I'd probably go with this one. Actually, you know what? Maybe this and upgrade the RAM. Actually, 16 gigs is probably fine. The 8 gigs I think was pushing it on the old M2 and M1 Mac Minis. This is probably fine. Because really what you need is the real expense is actually going to be the quad SDI card and the Thunderbolt enclosure for it. That's something somebody should make, is a Thunderbolt to quad SDI in a box that's not $600 or whatever it takes to buy the two parts together. Mac Mini M4 would certainly be good enough. You could at this point also get a M2. Like, it'll work. Also, actually getting 1080 feeds from Zoom is not usually possible. So, oh, you did find a page about it. Liminalnet/Zoom ISO performance. Aha, look at that. Thank you. Let me drop that link in the chat. They benchmarked it on the first gen M1s. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, testing procedures. CPU usage per output. Wow, this is very thorough. Okay. Well, there you go. Now you can read about that. There is a box like this? I thought there was not. Thunderbolt. It's probably like $4,000, right? I feel like all their stuff is extremely expensive. Yeah, getting 1080 from Zoom is dollars, and even then it's not necessarily guaranteed. So, okay. Zoom ISO tip. Would you ever recommend an Ecamm for Zoom over Zoom ISO? Yes, I think again, it's like if you're using Ecamm, you're using Ecamm to run your entire stream. And if you like doing that, great, do it and use their Zoom integration and you'll be happy. Zoom ISO is for when you are not using Ecamm, when you're doing your stream using hardware switchers. When you need to get like a physical SDI from one of the guests. So that's when I would, that's why I like using Zoom ISO. But if you're already using Ecamm, just use Ecamm and use their Zoom integration. But I wanted to share the tip for Zoom ISO, which I feel like I need to do a video about this because it's like really complicated. Zoom events is a, and this is like officially sanctioned by Zoom. It's not a weird backdoor, but it's going to sound like a backdoor. Zoom Events is a platform for like hosting webinars and stuff on Zoom, which has a bunch of stuff, bunch of features that like I don't care about, right? Like custom scene branding for the event pages. Like, okay, cool, fine. But here's the cool thing about this. If you go to, and like it looks really expensive, right? $99 a month. Okay, I don't need that. But if you go to pay per attendee and you say 50 attendees, which is the smallest number, essentially what this means is if you were using Zoom events, you would be capped at 50 people attending your events for the year. This is like for a 1 year term. So if you held one event with 50 people, that would eat up this. If you held 25 events and had 2 people joining, you would pay this amount, right? So you pay $100 and you get this plan. Here's the thing. This plan includes a Zoom ISO license. So if you buy this and pay $100 for the year and don't use Zoom events at all, you won't ever run out of your attendee limit. But this lets you activate Zoom ISO, which is cheaper than the Zoom ISO license, which is, see, it's real. The standalone license is $45 a month if you want the deck link output. $45 a month is not cheap. So instead, if you get a Zoom events plan, you will be able to activate your Zoom ISO license. And a Zoom event plan you can do as a pay per attendee option, which is $100 once. So there's your tip for the day. It's not really a Black Friday sale. Oops, I clicked on the wrong one, but sure. And it's $45 a month per computer versus Zoom sessions is multiple computers. Also interesting tip. I did not realize that. I've only ever tried it on one computer. How many Zoom ISO can you do in Ecamm? I actually don't know. I haven't tried it. I haven't actually tried it in Ecamm myself. That is a great way to save money. Andy actually told me about that tip, and now that is how I'm paying for Zoom ISO. Good trick. Oh, Gwen, what other Black Friday gear are you considering? Okay, so I am going to drop a link to some things that I picked out I think are good deals for Black Friday. And I'll go through them here. So we talked about the GoStream Duet, which is 316, and that's the SDI version. The GoStream deck, which is the HDMI version, is also on sale. So if you have no need for SDIs, then great. This is currently $236 on Amazon. I think B&H also. I don't know why that link didn't have the B&H link. 236, and this is all the same features as the Duet except no SDI inputs. So and no NDI. No, this one does have NDI. Updatable, it says. So maybe you have to buy the NDI license for that one. The Duet has the SDI, or has NDI. Anyway, still a good deal. 4-input switcher, $236. It's even just useful to have around as just a utility thing at that price. Another fun one is the previous gen Insta360 camera is pretty good deal right now. I haven't seen it this cheap before. I tried to pick deals that are like actually good deals and not just advertised as sales. The trick with these is that like you'll often see like, let's say that, you know, there's a product that's like says that the normal price is $50 and it'll be like $24 Black Friday sale, and you're like, wow, that's such a good deal, it's like half off, until you realize that they always have a discount that makes it like $30. So it'll be like, you know, it'll say normally it'll be like 40% off or whatever, $30, and the Black Friday deal is okay, and it gives you a few more dollars off, but it's not like fantastic. So I try to find deals that are like actually significant. So this is the previous gen, which I think it's why it's on sale, but it is a good price. I've not seen it that cheap before. I still think it's a perfectly good camera. I actually am a little bit disappointed about the X4, which is the one that I now have. The X4 is significantly bigger than the 3. It's fatter, and it's a little bit wider. It's a lot fatter, which also means the two lenses are farther apart, which gives you worse 360. And I wish they hadn't changed the size. So yeah, the X3 still good. It's not like 8K or whatever this one claims, but whatever. That doesn't actually matter for a sensor that small. Okay, what else? There's Keepa extension is helpful for price tracking on Amazon. I don't trust extensions for that because they are absolutely trying to track, build a profile of what you're browsing, like 100%. That's their business model. What I do use is a bookmarklet that takes me to the camel site to price track there. So this will show you price history on Amazon, and it's not a browser extension, so it's not always watching everything I'm doing on the internet. So you can see they have dropped it to this price before. This is the GoStream HDMI. They dropped that low in the summer, but not very often. Whereas like some of these things, you'll be like, oh, it's always that price. It's not actually a sale. YoloBox Ultra is on sale too. Oh, good tip. Let's take a look at that. There it is. Not a huge discount. Looks like $100 off. So here is the price history. It is the cheapest it's ever been, so that's good. I'll drop that link in the chat also. Should have that one here. Wow, where is it? There it is. Resolve is on sale. That is unusual. That almost never happens. That is a really good price. You should just get that if you haven't. You can Resolve is obviously free. Resolve Studio is not free, and it unlocks a few useful features. I think some of the AI audio processing features are in Studio only, which is really good, really useful. And that is a good price. That is a really good price. Matt says the current beta on Ultra has been rock stable for me, 271. That's good to hear. That's awesome. I'm a little bit behind on updating mine right now. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, here's another fun one. Where is the, apparently I don't have that link. So that 4 microphone kit, the Comica 4 mic that I used for the boat live stream in the summer, that is now on sale for it's the Vimo Q mic. That little kit. That is a pretty good sale. So it's now it's normally $250 and it's $200 right now. And it only has dropped that low a couple of times. Oh, and it's not even showing it in here at all. Maybe the black version has the price history. No, it's not showing it dropping there either. I've seen it once for that price before. So that's another actually good deal. The Comica mic, that's the one that I used on the boat. It did a pretty good job considering we were in just like the complete wind. But the cool thing about it is that it's a 4 mic kit. There aren't very many that are 4 channel on one receiver. So if you are doing like a multiple person podcast, it's a pretty good way to do it. Then there is, oh yeah, the little HDMI splitter that I got for the video wall controller thing. It's a splitter that also has a scaler, so you can see the little dip switches where you can downscale either of the two outputs. So you feed 1080 or 4K in, and then you can either output 4K or 1080. And it's just a cool trick, and it's a very cheap splitter, and it's on sale. So I thought that was a good tip, useful thing to have around in your toolbox. Prograde SD card. It's been a while since I bought one. I think I might just have to buy a couple more of these because they're always good to have around. V60 cards, so they're good, high speed, good quality. Prograde's a really good brand. This is a very good price. I have not seen it this low. I bought it I last purchased in 2020, which is a while ago. I wonder how much I paid then. Let's find out. I bet it was not cheap. It was $55 then. So yeah, $35 is a really good deal. Do affiliate links work when you add to cart in the app browser website, or does it need to be in the YouTube app when it opens within the YouTube app? Oh, is it opening those inside the YouTube app for you? If you're on an iPhone, does it really open it inside? That's super weird. If you're, let me look, because this is like relevant to my actual job. If I'm in the YouTube app and then I click on a link, no, it does not open it inside the YouTube app on iPhone. Good. I don't have my Android phone down here to test. My suspicion is that it does not keep it inside the app, and that means that it is sharing. It's like in your main browser, so it already is cookied you then, so that if you go back to the website, it'll keep the tracking info. How would the 4 people have audio in their ears? Oh, for those mics, they don't. Those are just mic. Those don't have the bidirectional. There is a Synco kit that has the bidirectional audio. But no, that was for the boat stream. For those of you who were not there, it was a fun bit of chaos. This was this summer, doing a live stream from a little boat. You can see we got the director mini on the desk there and a drone, which was the drone landing coming in. I know how I would do this differently, but it was hard to land on a moving boat. I will just say that. Anyway, so the 4 of us in the boat had the microphones just clipped on. Nobody could hear the stream audio. Oh God. Almost lost the drone. Four of us, we couldn't hear the stream audio, but it's fine. It was just, you know, when you're in that kind of setting, you don't need to hear yourself. The boat drone landing is my favorite memory of your channel this year. That was a lot of fun. I do want to do it again next year. Definitely want to do it again next year. Okay. Other good deals. The Ruco, do I have that? Yeah. The Ruco remote ID module is also already cheap, and now it's even cheaper. So it is, this is the little thing, if you're going to fly a drone that doesn't have its own built-in remote ID, and you need remote ID, which you almost certainly do if you're watching this channel in the US, then this little thing you can stick onto the top. So it's extremely light, very, very small, and now extremely cheap. It's not usually $60. It's usually, I think, $40. This is a good example of the fake deal, but it's $32 and a 5% off. So that is the lowest I've seen it. If you have the time, a highlight reel for a New Year's Eve stream, including the boat landing. Oh, that's a good idea. Wow, it'd be fun to dig through old live streams. This feels like a job for AI. Find me the most exciting moments across all of my live streams this year. The other, do I have that link in there? Another thing, which I actually just bought this because I was like, can never have too many batteries. The DJI giant battery pack is really on a good sale right now. This is sorry, oh my gosh, there it is. It's not normally $700, but it has never been $419. They usually have like a $100 instant apply coupon that you can buy with it, but it has not been $419. I can show you the camel page for it. Yeah, so this is, most recently it's been listed at $800. And it'll usually have like a $100 coupon or $150 coupon, so it's not actually $800. But yeah, $419 is ridiculous. I had to buy one because it was so cheap. I was like, you know what? Never have too many batteries. I want an AI highlight app as well. Invent that. I'm sure somebody has it. I'm sure some company is doing that now. Yeah, okay. Oh, Elias has a question. Do you have tips on what 5G router or similar to use when streaming at places without Ethernet? So I definitely recommend bringing your own router of some sort. And you don't necessarily have to have the router be the same as the 5G hotspot. So like don't necessarily limit yourself to looking for that combined. It's convenient when it's combined just because it's one less thing to plug in. But the problem with 5G routers is that like 5G and the routers and all like that whole stuff is very dependent on the actual region you're in. So like even the 5G hardware frequencies are different between Europe and the US. So you need to make sure you're getting one that's going to work where you are. So that's why I say like you absolutely always want your own router for the venue, like for your gear, so that whatever internet connection you're providing, you're getting, whether it's Ethernet or 5G. doesn't matter to the rest of your gear. So like get a router, have it issue addresses to everything on your network, build your own little local network for the table, and then give that router internet somehow. So Ethernet, obviously, if you can, but if you can't, you need 5G of some sort. So then I would go find a 5G router that has, or 5G modem that has Ethernet out, and give that to the router. There are some combo 5G routers with multiple Ethernet ports on them, which is fine. But just make sure, you know, you're gonna have to do some research in your area, because you want to make sure you got one that's going to work there. I think Wimbledon had something they were doing to pull tennis highlights bases on crowd noise. Oh, that's a good tip. Yeah. We don't quite get the crowd noise here, though. What is playing on the... Now it's a beach of some sort. Matt says, I'm sorry I'll miss your New Year's Eve stream. You'll be my 40th wedding anniversary, and I would like to see my 41st. Fair enough. Definitely do that. Do that instead. But I will do a New Year's Eve stream. Let's see, that is a Tuesday night this year. So that means I will have done a Sunday morning live stream, and then Tuesday. Yeah. Oh, that also means it's Lily's live stream day. She does her streams on Tuesdays at 4:30 p.m. Pacific, and so I haven't decided what I want to actually do for the New Year's stream this year. It was kind of fun bringing people on, like last year. I guess it's about time to start lining that up. But the fact that it's on Tuesday, if she does her stream, maybe we can have her guest in on mine at some point. What happened to the KiloView 4G encoder? It's been sitting on the table over there because I have not been home long enough to test it. So that is, that is, I'm finally like not traveling for the next 6 weeks, except for one night in December, going to Vegas for one night. Very exciting. But I'm actually here now. I can finish unpacking the stack of gear on the table over there. KiloView, I've got HDMI matrix from Ore. I've got the new OBSBot webcam and their tiny one. It's very cute. Elgato sent this Stream Deck over, which is did a little sneak peek of it last week, but I've been playing around a little bit more with it to configure and companion. Stream Deck pedal, a new thing that I can't talk about, and KiloView encoder. There's something else. Oh, the Osee GoStream Duet case thing. So yeah, lots to do, lots of content to film. Oh my gosh, it's a little overwhelming, honestly. Out comes the pink jacket and the mimosa. Yes, absolutely. Mega New Year's Eve stream with Lily and donuts and pink sparkly jacket. Probably something like that. New Year's Eve from the new house. I'm hoping we at least have power by then. I don't think it's going to be entirely finished. I'm hoping we have paint done. Hoping the power is turned on by then. I would really like the toilets to be installed by then. We'll see. There's still 6 weeks. 5 weeks. Yeah. Okay. We've been going for a while. We should probably wrap this up. I've got some more videotapes to download. So yeah, I think we're gonna wrap this up. Thanks for all the questions. We will be back here, same time, same place next week. Thanks to all of the extreme supporters of the channel, Larry and Marcin, and thanks to all the pro supporters as well. If you are a channel member, then please make sure you click the link down below to the members section and find the members only Discord where we can keep up throughout the week. It's been a lot of me talking about work stuff, but now I'll be back to posting more about videos as I'm testing this gear. I'll hopefully share some stuff about the QLED encoder on the Discord as well. Otherwise, yeah, we'll be back here to chat more about streaming gear next week. At some point, I've promised doing an actual live stream from some of these other switchers instead of just showing them on live streams. So that may be a members only thing that I do. We will see. And possibly it'll happen this Thanksgiving week since I have some time this week. So yeah, I gotta go finish making my hot sauce and downloading some videotapes and then see if I can start getting to work on filming some of these videos. Thanks everybody. See you all again later.